Well, it's 10 after, so Jen, are you okay with starting? You ready? All right. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. This session is Are You Using Inquiry? And here's me. This is my first time to use Google Hangouts through YouTube, so I'm kind of a newbie at this. Hi there, Sarah. Welcome. We've just started, like literally I just turned the slide. So hopefully you're here for Are You Using Inquiry?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. If you could, Sarah, type us in the chat box where you're tuned in from and what grade level and subject you teach, okay?
Okay.
Cool. Thanks. All right. So this is me. I'm Brittany Schurz. And I actually teach in West Africa right now. So, Virginia, okay. 6th grade math, all right. All us middle school teachers in here, all right, cool. I actually teach 6th and 7th grade science and 7th grade math right now, along with 2 special ed classes. And yeah, I teach a lot. Let me give you a little bit of a background about me. You can see in this picture, this is at my housing complex here in West Africa. And I absolutely love the local fabric. That's what I'm wearing, the Kang, they call it Kang. I'm in my 10th year of teaching right now. And I've taught in, hi Joey, welcome. I've taught in Texas, because that's where I'm from. So you'll hear me say y'all a lot, and I do apologize if that rubs you the wrong way. But I've taught in Colombia, South America. I've taught in Dubai, which is in the United Arab Emirates in the Middle East. And then now I'm in West Africa in a small little country called Burkina Faso that happens to be the 2nd poorest country in the world. So I want to apologize in advance if my internet goes out because it is very sketchy. And yeah, I've done everything possible that I can do for it not to go out, but just in case you have an idea. All right, so hopefully everybody's in the right place. Are you using Inquiry is the session? And my first year of teaching, I don't know about y'all what year you're in. You can type it in the chat box for us. What year are you in teaching wise? Is this your 4th, 5th, 19th? I'm 10. 4th year, Shanna. Okay, cool. My first year of teaching, I was a hot mess. I really had no clue what I was doing, I feel like. And I feel, now 10 years in, I think I'm getting it down, but I had no idea that my 2nd year of teaching, my department head decided to talk to me about doing a layered curriculum. And I had no clue at that point that I was using inquiry-based learning in my classroom. And so really for the last 8 years, I've been using inquiry. And for about 6 or 7 of them, I had no idea. And so here in the last 2 years, I've really been focused and passionate about spreading the word about both project-based learning, problem-based learning, all those different PBLs, phenomena-based learning is one of them, which are all under the umbrella of inquiry-based learning. All right, so, oh, Joey, 6th year, cool, okay. All right, so here are the objectives for today, for this session, which we started late, so hopefully we can make it through everything. I think we'll have time. What is inquiry? What's really the process? And then I want to help you learn the process through practicing. So I've got 2 different activities that we're going to try. And then at the end, we'll debrief and reflect on what it is that we've learned. Oh, Sarah, 13th year. Okay. Oh my goodness, your first year teaching the middle schoolers. I can't even imagine what you think of these crazy people in the middle. It, it takes a really special person. Although for me, I think it takes a special person to do elementary. So, okay. 10th year teaching middle school. All right, we're on the same track. Okay, so what I want to know is, what is inquiry? What do you think? What do you think right now? Type it in the chat. What do you think inquiry means? The word inquiry. Students asking questions. Question, asking questions. All right, cool, cool. Okay, so inquiry is a lot of things. First, to give you a background, it comes from John Dewey's. Okay, and basically this theory from a long time ago says that humans construct knowledge and meaning from our own experiences. So essentially, when we learn something, it's because we've experienced it, and that experience has meaning. It's meaningful to us. Okay, so inquiry is just, it's what we naturally do. It's how we naturally learn. Okay, usually it's engaging. We're interested in it. Otherwise, we're not really going to learn it. We're just going to remember it for the time and then lose it. There you go, guys. It is question-led. Well done. It's fluid. And then it's student-led. It can be student-led. Usually it is. And then self-initiated. So in my class, I am very, very radical. I kind of just step back and let my students just go. But with an end in sight. So here's kind of the process. Well, not kind of, it is the process, but not everybody touches on all these different points along the way. Okay, so how many of you have kids? Does anybody have kids? I have 2 babies at home, 2 baby girls. 2 girls as well, Sarah. Wow, 10 and 15. Okay, I'm only at 2 and 3 years old. 2 years old and 3 years old. Whew, that 15-year-old. Is she getting any problems yet? I'm not looking forward to the teenage years. Everybody's warning me about that. All right. So she's too busy too. Okay. All right. So I asked about kids because kids are the best way to really model the inquiry learning process, because like I said, inquiry is natural, but as we grow up and go to school, it becomes unnatural. We essentially get schooled out of inquiring about things. We just become less inclined to ask questions and just sit and try and absorb as much that's being given to us. So when you think about young children, even before school age, daycare age, preschool, babies even, they're making observations. They're looking at the world around them. They're seeing how people interact, right? And then they're formulating questions in their head, whether we hear it or not. For me, I have a 2 and a 3-year-old, so I hear questions all the time. How'd you do that? What is that? Why is it called that? And so nonstop questions, all right? And then in the inquiry process, we don't want to, as teachers, we don't want to just give them the answer. They didn't discover any of it. And it's not going to be meaningful to them because they didn't have a chance to actually explore and engage. Okay, so we want to try and guide them through this process, which is once they have a question, we then want to ask them, well, what do you think? Okay, that's a great just leading question, really simple. What do you think? And get them to think about what they already know, making those the connections to prior learning. Okay. Once they have some ideas or they think they know what's going on, that's when they can start to actually research, discover, okay? And so this is when, I'm going to use my daughters as an example again. They go out and they have an idea about what snails like, because we have a lot of snails here during the wet season in Burkina Faso out at our housing complex. And my girls love to go out and feed the snails. And they think that snails just eat anything and everything until they try it and they see that no, snails don't really like everything that we eat as people. So they're discovering these things all on their own. And then once they figured this out, Mama, snails like leaves and snails like tomatoes. Then they're sharing their discoveries. They're letting other people know what it is that they've learned. And that really is a sign that they've learned it, is when they're able to go and explain it to somebody else, right? And we're just kind of moving through Bloom's taxonomy, if you remember those. I think one of the most important parts of this process is to reflect on our findings. And often this is left off. This is at the end of the unit or at the end of the activity when we're really running out of time, we're pressed for time. So, okay, we'll reflect on it tomorrow, but really it doesn't ever happen. And the reason that this is important is because we want to make sure that our students are actually thinking about the whole process. What did they go through? This is where we can help to cultivate a growth mindset and to show them the challenges that they overcame. This is also a way, for the math teacher and me, this is a way to help our students to really think about, is what they found and discovered, does it make sense, right? So if we're doing a math lesson or a math class and I have a kid that's, the question is, how long did it take her to brush her teeth? And they come up with an answer that's like 14 centimeters. Okay, well, does that really make sense? No. So reflecting on our findings is a great way for the kids to really make those deeper connections as well. Okay. All right. Any questions so far? That was a really quick overview of the process and a very little piece of the background of inquiry. But I want to get to the activities so that you can see kind of how it can work. Any questions? No? Okay. All right. Okay, our first activity is called self-gratification and the marshmallow test. Okay, so self-gratification and the marshmallow test. And remember, the first piece, here's your observation. I'm telling you the name of this activity. And now our next piece is ask a question. So in the box, type a question. I've told you that this is called self-gratification and the marshmallow test. Okay. All right, don't give it away, okay? So type in a question that you can think of right now, only based on the title. All right, what are you thinking right now? What do you think this might be about? Now, all right, perfect, thank you. Do we get to eat marshmallows? What are we doing with marshmallows? Awesome, I'm so excited that y'all are focused on the marshmallow part. Okay. So before we go on, I want to also give you the option of pretending to be a student. So as you're going through this activity, if you don't just want to be yourself, you want to actually take on the persona of a student, you may. Okay. All right. So here's our questions. What are we doing with marshmallows? Do we get to eat marshmallows? All right. So let's take a moment, step back from our questions, and let's think of what do we already know about the terms self-gratification, or what do we know about the marshmallow test? Is there anything that you know right now? Okay. Don't give away too much. I think it's LaDonna. Oh, she's gone. Okay. So what do you think is going to happen? Give me your best guess. What do you think we're going to do? What do you think is coming? We'll decide how many marshmallows are too many to eat. Oh, okay. All right. Thanks, Joey, for that. Okay. Welcome.
Dang.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
Shannon, no.
Huh? Oh,
All right. Okay, Shanna, don't give it away. Thank you. Okay. Joey's got it. Sarah, you have an idea? What do you think we're going to do? History and Heels. Welcome. I love that name. Okay. We are trying to decide what we think is going to happen in this activity that is called self-gratification and the marshmallow test. Okay, so we are in our first activity. We just started it. We haven't actually done a whole lot yet. So history and heels, you kind of attempt. Are we eating them? Okay, so Sarah thinks we're going to eat them. Cool. Okay. All right, so here's what's coming. The next phase is that we get to discover something. We're gonna discover what this is all about. This is like the hands-on type thing. Although we're on the internet, I'm trying to make this as hands-on as possible. So what I need you to do in like the next minute is find something that you're really tempted to eat or play with or read or something like that. So for me, I have a piece of dark chocolate because I love dark chocolate, and I'm going to put it right in front of me. If you can't find something, then you can use your computer, because there are so many tabs that we could open up to get on social media and be distractions. So I want something that's really, that you're going to put right in front of you. Give me a quick got it when you're ready. That way I know to move on. I'm going to give you about another 30 seconds. Okay, Shanna, LaDonna, you can do it too. You can still do it, even though you know what's going to happen. Okay, awesome. All right. Cool, okay. Just, Shanna, do you want to grab something too? History and heels? Okay. All right. History and heels. Ready? Okay, so what you're going to do is essentially for the next, I'm only going to do this for 3 minutes because, you know, we got started late and this is a short session. So for 3 minutes, you have to not do anything with whatever item you got. You just have to sit there and not do anything with it. Simple as that. Don't touch it. Don't eat it. If you're like me and got chocolate, don't play with it, whatever. Just sit here and watch the time go, if that's what you choose to do. So 3 minutes, okay? Just, all right, so our time has started. History and heels. Oh, gotta love those YouTube little ads, okay? History and heels, what grade? I'm gonna guess you teach history. What grade level? I'm looking. Joey, did you tell us? Is this your 6th year? Where are you logged in from? You can use this as a time to close your eyes. but you are not doing anything with the object that you grabbed. We're almost done, y'all. All right, so we made it. Okay, in the chat, how'd you do? Did you get distracted over those 3 minutes? Did you touch the object? Did you eat it? Did you play with it? Or were you able to just be distracted in a different way? I did not eat my dark chocolate, I'll tell you. Although, to be fair, I did have some before the session, so I don't know if that counts a whole lot. Yay, Joey, okay. You were able to hold out for the 3 minutes. Did you crack chocolate too, Madonna? Oh, okay, you had tea. All right, nice. Okay, so what we just did was a modification of the marshmallow test. And basically, Stanford University, I think it's been, oh gosh, almost 40 years or somewhere around 40 years ago that they conducted research and they called it the marshmallow test. And they tested children, elementary age children, kind of, I think, early elementary age kids. And they basically said, okay, they put them in a room and they said, here's the marshmallow. You can have this one marshmallow right now, but if you can wait for 15 minutes, when I come back, I'll bring a second marshmallow and you can have 2 marshmallows. Okay? And what they found was, because of course that wasn't the only part of the research, they tracked these same kids that they did this experiment on all the way through high school and beyond. And they found that the kids that were able to wait, so that delayed gratification, they waited because they wanted the 2 marshmallows. They knew that if they were able to wait and not eat this one that was right in front of them, they would get twice as much. So the ones that were able to wait They had higher performances in school. Okay. Oh my goodness, you had to hold your marshmallow until the end of the semester. That's insane. And what was your reward? I don't know if I could do that. Well, I probably could. I don't really like marshmallows all that much, but my problem would be that I would lose it. Anyways, so the kids that were able to wait and eat the 2 marshmallows showed higher performances on standardized testing. They showed higher academic performance, so their grades were higher. And they also had a higher acceptance rate to college and, better, more, not more, higher income earning jobs later on. So a lot of different things that this test showed. And oh, okay. Maybe I've heard of the pencil challenge. I don't know. Sarah, you'll have to fill us in. But essentially, if we can train ourselves to delay gratification, there are greater rewards, right? There's a saying, good things come to those who wait. That's essentially this test and this idea. So kids that at a young age are able to wait, okay, they're going to be the kids that aren't just going to immediately jump on the newest fad or are the ones that need to have the newest thing right now. They're better able to see that, they can wait longer for better things. Okay. All right. So then our reflection. Do you think that if you chose a different object, it would have made a difference? Would it have been a bigger struggle for you if you had chosen something else? Type it in the chat box for us. Let us know. If you chose something else, would it have made a difference? Yeah, I know. It would have been a lot harder if you had to wait longer. That's a good point. But unfortunately, I didn't want you to wait like 15 minutes just spending the session. I wanted to get through this activity for y'all. Yep, length of time, definitely. So see, I'm not even guiding you to these. I want you to point out maybe not looking at your phone. Yes, that's a big deal. For me, it would be like not opening my computer. That's a really big challenge, especially first thing in the morning, looking at, Facebook and my teachers and stuff. So, but yes, it helps strengthen that accountability too. Exactly. I actually did this last year with my 7th grade science class. I just found that I used it as a way to show them self-control. And I could not believe they were just coming up with the most random things to do so that they would not look at the item in front of them. Yes, exactly. So, but I do want to show, LaDonna and Joey both commented on how if you had to wait longer, it would be harder. Okay, that's a really big thing to take away from this, right? Like our students, how many of our students are going to come to that conclusion as well if we were to do this with them? And then, of course, we can talk. This is a great discussion that we can talk with them about, and especially history and heals, like you said, having to hold ourselves responsible for waiting or not waiting. Right now, our kids, I don't know about yours in Michigan and Virginia and everywhere else, but here in Burkina Faso, I have kids from all over the world. It's an international school, so I have American kids, I have kids from Lebanon, I have kids from just kind of everywhere, Senegal, France, and they all exhibit the same thing. They have a really tough time just sitting and waiting, especially for instructions. And yeah, so this this activity is really good for showing them that, yeah, it's hard to wait, but you can also benefit from it. Okay, so that one was a pretty easy one. Now, here's our second activity, okay? Physics graphs. There you go, there's the title, physics graphs. All right, what questions do you have? So all I'm giving you is the title, physics graphs. Any questions so far? What questions can you think of? Type it in the chat box. Will we read graphs? All right, Joey. Anyone else have questions? Is this science? How will we use science? All right. I don't know how many, I think a couple of you missed it, but I do teach 6th and 7th grade science right now and 7th grade math. And I also have two blocks of special ed classes. So it is a lot. It is a lot. My school right now classifies a full-time teacher as having 5 classes to prep for. It's insane. It's ridiculous. All right. I think all the questions, everybody that's got a question is going to ask. Okay. All right. Y'all, I'm hoping the power just went out here, which means our internet is about 2 minutes behind. So I'm hoping the power comes back on. I told you this is life in Burkina. We have a generator and it should kick back on. So, all right. I'm in West Africa. Okay. So now it's time to hypothesize. So what do you already know about physics graphs? What do you think you know? What do you think we're going to be doing? Data? Yeah, okay. Anybody else? Am I still here? Creating ideas? Okay. Whew, sorry, y'all. I'm praying that the power comes back on. Otherwise, your session's going to get cut short. Sharing ideas, all right. Analysis. Okay. All right. Now, this is our time to discover. Okay, so the next part, this is when, if we were in class, nope, I'm gonna wait, okay. The next slide I'm gonna show you is a picture. All right, I'm gonna give you a couple minutes to study it, kind of get a good look. I'm not gonna talk about it, okay? It's for you to discover. And then I'm gonna change to the next slide after about a minute or so, okay? All right, so take a minute. If you want to type in the chat box, you can type in the chat box. Okay. So I've given you this picture. It's got a lot of information on it. Now, what I really want to know, though, is, this is my question to you, what is this graph showing? What's happening in this picture? If it's easier for you to jump on your mic and tell us, you can. Although, let's do one at a time. Anybody? Am I still there? Am I still live? Can y'all give me a chat in the box? All right, cool, Joey, thanks. Okay, so are y'all just completely lost right now? Is that what's going on? Nobody's answering the question. Oh, I have power again. We're saved. Okay. All right. I'll show you the other picture again. So if we were in class, if you were my class in actual brick and mortar school, I would just give you this picture, this graphic. Hey, you wouldn't have to try and memorize it or take notes on it. I would just give it to you. But since we're not in a classroom, it's a little bit more challenging. Okay, so what do you think is happening in this graph? What do you see? Let's start there. What do you see? What words do you see? Velocity and time. Nice. All right, so I'm looking at a velocity versus time graph. Okay. If you had to raise your hand, I don't know if there's a little emoji that you can use to raise your hand. How many of you feel really uncomfortable with this? Increase in velocity, okay. Decrease in time. All right. So let's take a look. Now, here, as we're going up, oh, first, I want to just take a minute and notice velocity is increasing up this axis and decreasing as we go down, right? But notice here, time is always going. Time isn't stopping. It's just continuing to go because, right, time doesn't stop. All right, so as I'm going up here, my velocity is increasing, as does time. But then notice here, my velocity doesn't increase, but time is still going on. My velocity just stays the same. And then, oh my goodness, my velocity just decreases completely over a lot of time, and then it increases again. Okay, so I'm going to give you a story because this is a really easy memory hack, is to tell stories so that you can remember something. Okay, so I left my house to get on the highway, and follow my arrow with me if you can see it. All right, I'll start again. Here we go. We're starting at my house right here at 0, the origin. I left my house in my car, by the way. I'm driving. Okay, to get on the highway. I get on the highway for a short amount of time, and then I exit, and I have to wait in traffic at a light. And then the light turns green, and I can go again. There you go. Voila. I am learning French, living here in Burkina Faso. All right. So in the chat, how'd you do? Even if you decided not to type in what you thought, how'd you do? Did you have somewhat of an inclination? I will tell you that these interpreting graphs seems to be the hardest thing for our students to do. And that was my students in Texas as well. Nobody wants to share? Oh, everybody's shy when it comes to the physics graphs. All right, we're gonna try another one. Oh, really quickly, does anybody know what velocity means? Speed, okay. Right, it shows miles per minute, so yeah, that's like speed. But then why didn't it say speed? Don't worry, I'm not really testing you. I'm trying to give you a more authentic experience, something that you would, if you were the student, you would experience this. So basically, velocity is in fact speed, but the difference is velocity also is a direction. Speed in a direction. All right, here's our next, we only have one more. Don't worry, we're almost done. I want to know, so notice again, velocity versus time graph. What I want to know is which of these, A, B, C, or D, is a constant velocity? What do you think? Which of these is a constant velocity? So a constant speed in a direction. What do you think? Type it in the chat box. A, B, C, D. Did I lose you all? Take a guess. The answer is better than nothing, right? Isn't that what we tell our students on a test? A guess is better than leaving it blank. Which of these, A, B, C, D, which of them is showing a constant velocity, constant speed in a direction? C, C, okay. D, no. What is no? D, A. Yeah, Joey, it's all of them. How do you know? It is, in fact, all of them. What do they all have in common? I love how you asked that. There you go. They're all straight lines. That's it. They're all straight lines. So they're traveling at a constant speed in a direction. So straight lines. That's it. But I do love how you asked it as a question. All of them? I can totally hear one of my students. Yep, constant rate of change. I can totally hear one of my students asking it just like that. All of them? Okay. So now it's time to analyze and share. What did you learn? How'd you do? Do you think if you would have had that initial graph in front of you, would you have been able to do better? Maybe. Oh, that's like, it depends. I tell my students, like, don't ride the fence, pick a side. What do you think? I love the maybe. It's been a long time since I've been in science class. Yes, a lot of people struggle with science. I felt like there was a chance that the first activity, the marshmallow test, people would have heard of it, but I really figured that I would be able to get you with the science one. Okay, so let's reflect. How many of you got frustrated, really wanted that picture in front of you, or wanted to be in the room with me, able to see my expression, or just able to raise your hand so that you could ask your question. How many of you got frustrated? Thanks, Joey, for the honesty. Hand up, history and heels. All right. This is what our students feel, right? This is totally what our students feel. And this is part of the process. Now, so this is part of inquiry, right? But the difference is we don't want them to necessarily feel super frustrated that they can't ask for help or get help. You know, we also want to help guide them a little more. Now, again, like I said, I would have given out that initial graph to my students. All right, but I don't want to explain it. I want them to discover it. Obviously, there's gonna be a time where I will have to start walking through it, but I'm not going to do it with the whole class because I'm not going to slow down the ones that have already gotten it. Okay. Now, I also want to reflect on the two activities really quickly. Okay, so both of them modeled the inquiry process. It was a really quick kind of summation of everything that we can do, but both ways involve the students thinking, the students doing a lot of work, right? I was able to just kind of sit here and allow you to think and allow you to do. That's when in my class or in class, when the students are working their way through this, this is when you're able as a teacher to go around and facilitate. You're able to monitor where the students are. You're able to talk to individual students. All right. Now, there are two different types of inquiry. One is structured and one is, of course, unstructured. It's more free. Okay, I do a lot more free inquiry, free structure, inquiry-based learning in my classroom. And I would love to talk to you about that, but I know that the next session is starting soon, so I want to get you out. So if you're going to the next session, you can get there at least, you know, within the first few minutes. So at this point, we talked about what actually is inquiry. What does it mean? We've looked at the process. Okay, we've gone through the process with two different activities. And now what I really want you to think about is a quick, like we're going to debrief and reflect really quickly. How are you already using inquiry in your classroom? Okay, and then how can you further it? How can you use more inquiry? Now, before you go, I also really want to point out to you that you as a teacher already use inquiry yourself as the teacher. Y'all, the art or craft of teaching is inquiry-based learning. Okay, you have, you know, you see how your students are working every day. You ask them questions, okay, and then you're going to make a hypothesis. You're going to plan that lesson hoping that it works exactly like you think it's going to work, and you know, and then you discover, oh my gosh, I should have done this, I should have done that. You're going to share those results with yourself, with your colleagues, right? And then you're going to reflect on it because you want to make it better either for the next class period that you have it or for the next school year. You're already going through the process of inquiry-based learning as a teacher when you're planning for your classes. Okay, you just might not have ever known it, but you're doing it already as the teacher. How can you apply that into your class? I like to tell people that ask me how I do inquiry-based learning in my class, I like to say that, you know, I love inquiry-based learning because now it's the student's job to work, not mine. I get to just kind of, I'm facilitating. It's the student's job to do all the rest of it. So, in the chat box, stations, yeah, guided math. Encourage them to give the why not, the correct answer, etc. Yeah, Sarah, that's fantastic. Yep. Stations are totally inquiry-based learning. Anyone else want to share how they are or could use inquiry in their classroom? Yep, when introducing a new topic, exactly, yeah. When discussing evidence, nice. Okay, so again, here are those 6 steps to the process. It is fluid, so it doesn't mean that we always necessarily go in the same order. Notice, even during this second activity, I had you reflect a couple times throughout it. Okay. All right. Thanks for coming, y'all. I was trying to end on time. I do apologize. I could have so much more to say, but I want to be cognizant of the next session. So, any last minute questions? Oh, thank you. Thanks. I would really, really love to hear. Thank you, thank you. All right. I'd really, really love to hear from you. So I've put my email up. I do have a whole entire video series for planning for inquiry-based learning. This is in my folder, yes. This, LaDonna, this presentation is in my folder. So yeah, connect with me. You know, I have YouTube videos that walk you through the entire process of planning an inquiry-based learning unit. Okay, I also have a group on Facebook for inquiry-based learning. And then of course I have a Teachers Pay Teacher store where you can find, not a ton because I just started, but you can find inquiry-based activities and units, entire units. So, any other questions before you leave? Yeah, History in Heels. I wanted to give you, you know, a technical subject and show that it still can be useful, right? Inquiry can still be done in science. It can totally be done in math. And I could see like ELA and history, that's, I feel like, you know, just giving them a book is inquiry in itself in a sense. All right, thanks y'all for coming. I'll stay around for just a couple minutes if you have any last questions. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Okay, do you have any more questions? All right, thank you so much for coming and enjoying my session. I really appreciated all the interactions and the chat. I would love to hear from you. Again, email me, Brittany at challengesfromateachermom.com. Bye.